Why our New Year's resolutions keep failing. Hey, I'm Darren Randolph. Welcome to the Coolest Show, a deep dive into topics to help us gain a better understanding of the world that we live in. This one is very personal to me. I'm not going to lie to you. New Year's resolution is something I frequently do. I don't always call them New Year's resolutions. Sometimes I just call them goals for the new year. And as I look back on 2025, I did not accomplish all the ones that I wanted to. And I wanted to understand why. Why do so many people set out to have these goals at the top of a new year? And why do even more of those people fail to reach them? First, we peel back a little bit of the history. And as I was looking through my notes and I was doing my research, the first New Year's term actually came out in 1813. This was in a Boston newspaper, and it read, "And yet I believe there are a multitude of people accustomed to receiving injunctions for New Year's resolutions, who will sin all month of December with serious determination of beginning the new year with new resolutions and new behavior, and thus a full belief that they shall thus wipe away all their former faults." I think that's so interesting that they had this idea almost 200 years ago, well, over 200 years ago at this point, of them ditching their former selves by a change of a calendar year. Like, this one calendar year is going to change everything about themselves, and they can act a complete fool in December. And then by the turn of January, they'll just be a complete transformed new version of ourselves. And this isn't a 200-year-old thing. While the term was invented in 1813, it actually started over 4,000 years ago with the Babylonians. This idea that one can turn over a new leaf at the top of a new year and become a new version of themselves has captivated people's minds, hearts, and wallets. An estimated $4,700 are spent every year trying to accomplish a New Year's resolution amongst average Americans. And if I'm being honest, it's very commendable. It's something that we shouldn't bash people for, but we should actually praise people for. But amongst the praise, there should be wisdom, because a lot of the New Year's resolutions that we have are misguided. That's why we fail. When you look at a Forbes article in 2024, it revealed that 36% of people who had a New Year's resolution quit within the first month, and only 9% of those people had success with the New Year's resolution. That is insane. That means 9% of everybody who has a New Year's resolution actually sustains it throughout the whole year. Why is that? Why do we keep our New Year's resolutions in our mind instead of putting them to the paper, instead of actually accomplishing them? Why do we give up so easily to something that we were so determined to do at the start of a new year? The Forbes article continues to explain why this is. The first thing that they note is that it's too unrealistic. The goal that we're setting out doesn't actually make sense. It's a pipe dream. It's a wish that we're going to become the best versions of ourselves and have complete intentionality between everything that we're doing, and we have no fault, and we're going to accomplish these things. It doesn't make sense. It's just something that we dream about instead of something that we're actually having steps and taking a plan and action to actually accomplishing. The next thing that Forbes notes is that it's too misaligned with the version that we actually are. They note that it's harder to become a swim instructor if you've never swam a day in your life. Setting these unrealistic, misaligned goals often result in failure. It's also important to note that it's not impossible to become a completely new version of yourself. It's not impossible to do things that are misaligned with who you currently are in efforts to try to improve or to change characteristics about yourself. But it is increasingly harder. So if you're just acting on a wish or a desire, a prayer, you're going to continuously fail. And that's what most Americans or most people who partake in New Year's resolutions are doing. We are acting in hopes and prayers that the calendar year has magic powers to change us, when in actuality, it's just the change of a day. It's just a change of an hour. It's just a change of the calendar. But it does not symbolize a new version of yourself if you do not have certain things implemented to help it change, to help yourself change. And that's what I wanted to get into. The root of it all. The root of everything isn't that our New Year's resolution is just off or our New Year's resolution sucks. It's actually, we just lack discipline. See, discipline is defined as the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior with punishment or unusual desire or otherwise undesired consequences for those failing to comply. In other words, discipline is the process of having a goal and sticking to it regardless of the outside influences. Think of it like an athlete. I think athletes are the easiest way to understand the role of discipline. When an athlete is trying to make it to the pros, say somebody who is in middle school wants to become an NBA player, they know that they have to discipline their body. They have to say no to certain things. They have to say no to junk food. They have to say no to sleep at times. They have to say no to partying in order to work at the goal that they have set out. And eventually they get that goal. Eventually they get to the NBA. That does not come without discipline. Discipline is a mandatory thing. And for athletes, the most disciplined athletes are usually the most successful ones. Now, we can take that logic and we can apply that to our own New Year's resolution. We look at athletes and how it took them years in order to accomplish what they set out to. That shows us that it takes time in order to accomplish these things. The change of a calendar does not signify the change, or does not equal the change. The change is going to come after days. It may come after months. It may be even years, depending on what the goal is that we have set out. So we have to understand that it will take time in order for things to accomplish. Nothing sustainable, nothing memorable came in an instant. It took time. There were steps that was implemented in place in order to accomplish those things. And the New Year's resolution is the exact same. If your goal is to read, one of my goals last year was to read 12 books. It was to read a book a month. Before then, I had a habit of picking up my phone instead of picking up my book. So when the new year came, there was nothing built in place for me to continue those things. Or for me to change those things and change my behavior. So instead of me just churning over a new leaf, I actually stayed the exact same. And I read 3 books instead of 12. I didn't accomplish that goal because I wasn't disciplined enough and I didn't build up enough resistance towards my former habits to correct my new habit and accomplish my New Year's resolution. So we understand New Year's resolutions are less about the change of the calendar, more about becoming a new or a better disciplined version of ourselves. But how do we actually do that? I wanted to gain a better understanding of how to actually accomplish these goals. So I went online, and the first thing that it directed me when I went online was the idea of a SMART goal. Most of us use SMART goals when we were a little kid, but if you don't know what a SMART goal is, it stands for, the S of it is specific, the M of it is measurable, the A, attainable, R, relevant, and T, time bound. This gives a clear layout. This gives steps in order to accomplish the goal. So whatever New Year's resolution we have, implementing SMART goals actually gives a clear and understandable layout of how you're going to accomplish those goals. This makes it easier to accomplish those things because you're not just doing it off of a whim, off of a desire. You've actually put down things in place to make it more attainable, hence the A in SMART goals. Knowing this is only half the battle, though. It's still not going to be easy. I always think of Hebrews 12:11, and it says, "No discipline is fun in the moment, but rather painful to all those who partake in it, but later yield righteous fruit for all those who partake in it." And it's just a clear reminder that it's not going to be easy. Any goal that we see to strive out will be difficult, but it will be more than worth it when we accomplish it, regardless of the time that it's spent. But having a better understanding of it using the SMART goals gives you freeway, or not freeway, but it gives you a better understanding, and it gives you a track to stay on to accomplish your goals. Pairing the SMART goals with habit stacking. Habit stacking is a strategy to build new habits by linking them to existing automatic routines. Think of an example like you want to become more fit. So you stack it with brushing your teeth. That's a pre-existing habit. Well, at least I hope it is for everybody. But a pre-existing habit would be you brush your teeth every morning. So right after you brush your teeth, you do 15 push-ups. You're stacking a new habit to a pre-existing one. And as you continue to do that, you start to build a new routine based off of pre-existing routines that you already have. This allows an easier transition rather than trying to quit cold turkey and start anew. It allows you to build and improve while it not being such a shock or estranged, because it's not your normal. It's flowing with your normal and just improving on it, just adding more days, just stacking new habits. The key to it is the gradual growth instead of just trying to quit. And all of this continues to change your mind and builds up your discipline. It's like an athlete getting drafted. Once they get drafted, they got a whole new set of challenges, but they get to rely on the things that they have previously done. They get to rely on their middle school, their high school, their college experience. So now them getting drafted isn't such a strange thing. And them being on a new team isn't such a strange thing because they've already built up experience and built up different habits based off of previous experience. These two things help you increase discipline and will in turn help you to accomplish your New Year's resolution. So when we look back on our New Year's resolutions, before, we can probably break down the reasons why. We probably did not have a clear set of goals that we were going to accomplish, and we definitely didn't have enough discipline. That's why we did not accomplish them. So instead of writing New Year's resolutions on the top of 2026, or instead of keeping the list of New Year's resolution, cross the title off, put I'm going to, and then fill in the blank of whatever you're going to accomplish. Directly below that, put steps, put how you're going to accomplish it. Implement the SMART goals so we can accomplish the New Year's resolution and we can become the best versions of ourselves. We can finally achieve that new year, new me that we say every year. All right, you guys, it's Darwin Randolph with the Coolest Show. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you gained something from it so we can all improve on our habits and our New Year's resolutions and just our goals in general, anything that we want to set out. I hope we realize that it takes another level of discipline so we can accomplish that and become the best versions of ourselves, because that's all what it's about, just improving day by day. If you liked it, please like, follow, subscribe, share, do all that, please. I would really appreciate that. I'm trying not to ramble. This is the post vid. You know, I usually have like a script and stuff that I want to talk about. Now I'm kind of just, freestyling it. But I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you guys on the next one. I'm out.